This is the Cultural Fluency Podcast with Angel Pretot, the French coach. That's me. And today in episode number 11, I am with Alexa, the creator of Learn French with Alexa. And you might know her already because she has a YouTube channel with over 1 million subscribers. So if you're big on learning French, you cannot have missed her. And she has been making French learning videos for a whole decade and teaching French in London, if I believe what it says on her website, for over 25 years. So thank you for being here, Alexa. It's an amazing honor to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. In case our listeners don't know you yet, can you introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Angel, for having me. Who am I? My name is Alexa, and I'm the creator of Learn French with Alexa, like you said. Learn French with Alexa is a YouTube channel, but most of all, it's a business. So we teach courses online, and I have a team of creators that work with me, so I'm not alone. And we have been doing so for many years.
Right.
But I started pretty much on my own, setting up a business over 30 years ago.
Wow.
So it tells you my age. Originally we were not, of course, YouTuber, because
there was no YouTube. Right.
But we managed throughout the decades to reinvent ourselves throughout the years. Maybe we'll talk about that if you have questions about it.
I'm so curious now, because 30 years, I mean, my own business is only 6 years old. So it's hard to imagine
you're so
5 times older.
I know, you're so much younger as well, Angel. So it's, everything into perspective. And actually, I'm curious as well of how, it feels for you, young creators, because we arrived earlier, and how does it feel for you? And, what hurdles did you have to surpass in order to, create what you are creating?
A very big hurdle that we have to surpass is that every topic is already covered by a Learn French with Alexa video that ranks really high on YouTube. So getting ourselves found is very difficult.
I know.
But you continue to teach offline as well as online at the same time? You still do both?
So I don't teach personally at all. I do not give private lessons, but I have done so for many years, for nearly 20 years. I think I stopped altogether teaching people about, I would say, 6-7 years ago. But slowly, when we reinvented ourselves, I slowly detached myself from the teaching. So yes, online and offline. I wouldn't say that I teach offline anymore, per se.
So what are your days like now that you no longer teach? Is it mostly managing content, managing a team? What does it look like now?
So what it looks like now, day-to-day in Learn French with Alexa is a bit crazy, actually. If you wish, there are 2 people at the head of Learn French with Alexa. There is my business partner, Adam, who is the brain of it all, and there is me as the head of content, if you wish. Though we have a head of content, I'm here to deliver the content that is written. So that's what, I do as a mission. Of course, I manage a few writers, but I don't manage the marketing side of it. I don't manage any side that is technical. It's not me at all. But it's too complicated for me.
Right. I mean, I can imagine that when your business has grown to this side, it becomes, you have more opportunity to hire more people and also to specialize in what's easier for you. I guess that's a really big difference. I'm assuming.
Yeah. I mean, hiring people is a big decision because it's a massive cost.
I know.
It's a huge cost. Yeah, it's a massive cost. You've
Yes.
got to be prepared to spend a lot of money and think that you will generate more money in order to be able to pay your people and hire more people. So we are constantly hiring, but we are constantly spending money as well. People might think, Learn French with Alexa, they have millions of followers on all platforms, and they have a successful business. But they've got to understand it's also a huge expense as well.
And also there is rarely a direct relation between how many followers you have and how much money you actually bring in.
No. So this is a misconception, actually. People say, she's got 1.5 million followers, she must make so much money. No, you don't necessarily. You don't. It's interesting because they think because you're YouTubers, but we are not gamers. We are educators. Let's put things into perspective. And it's very interesting. Yes, we do make money through YouTube, but that's not our main source of income. If it was, then I wouldn't have the team that I have. I'm grateful that we are so known on YouTube. I'm grateful because that allows what we call in business a funnel of people that will actually think, okay, I love what she's doing. I want to learn more, and so in terms of notoriety and in exposure, this is YouTube is amazing, for that. So
And what made you decide to stop teaching and focus on the content creation and the business side of things entirely? Because for me, I cannot imagine that I will one day not teach. I don't even imagine how I could create content if I wasn't also teaching at the same time. That's where I get my ideas from.
No, absolutely, Angel. It's such a good point for you guys. And I've spoken to so many of you. I've invited a lot of people, young creators like you on Instagram, especially. And I absolutely love what you do. Absolutely love what everybody does, it's really, really good. How did we manage to cut out the teaching? First of all, we were
managed to cut out the teaching. It sounds like it was some sort of a burden.
It was a burden. I know it sounds crazy. Oh, wow. It was not a burden. Let me explain myself. I love teaching. I still teach, on the videos, and the course on the website is all me. We've created this mastodon of a course, that's taken years to put together. That's taken so much money to put in place, But when I was teaching in real life, it stopped me from creating. So 10 years ago, and slowly, my business partner said to me, it's time to let go. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. And sometimes you see what you're doing physically, like you said, when I'm working, but equally you're working by just creating content. So the physical aspect, I thought that by tiring myself, teaching throughout the day, physically, I was doing a good job. But what it was doing, it was limiting me. I was limited in some ways. And Adam did say, it's time, for you to let go. It's time for you to, and I love teaching, don't get me wrong, But weirdly, Angel, our speciality is not in teaching adults, it's in teaching children.
Oh, really? Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
No, I know. In 1993, so 92, I arrived in London. And I started teaching French to groups of children for another company that I will not name. Probably doesn't exist anymore, but I thought, oh, wow, I'm quite good at that. I could do better. So in 93, I started teaching on my own privately groups. This was called the French ecole. So the French ecole became big in London. The French ecole had, I would say, close to 1,000 pupils in London. doing French with a French ecole. And so what I did, I taught many schools, many classes, you know, primary schools, nursery schools, like little ones. And then I had to tell teachers how to do it. So I created a methodology for French teaching for children. So MFL in primary school, modern foreign languages in primary school. So I created this method where I had, and that was before even, you know, computers, you know, what you could do, what you can do with a computer. So I pretty much drew every single worksheets and, you know, material and things like that, and gave that to my teachers. And at one point we must have had about 25 teachers, you know, working as a fleet in London. And then podcasting arrived, you know. So the podcast world arrived, and Adam being really savvy technically. I mean, I think you've got to be so savvy. And I think that's what the difference is between you guys and me, in that I was not born with it, in it as such. While Adam is Generation X, he's 52, and, you know, he always had the mind of a techie, you know, and he followed technology. So we started podcasting, and the podcast still there, you know, 12, 13 years on, with millions of downloads, you know, and so YouTube arrived right after the podcasting. We were on the at the time top 10 of the most listened podcast. Yeah, I don't know if you know Stephen Fry, but we were actually above Stephen Fry on the top. But that's because nobody was using podcasts.
Yeah, of course, if you're early.
We are lost now in the pool of creators, you know, we are so bottom, and just, but it allowed us to think, okay, well, we are going to film that podcast into YouTube, you know, and this is how it started. And then before you know it, you know, started having lots of interest, and, you know, people wanting to have more. So we were not as probably, if you wish, we broke a lot of walls for you guys that came behind.
Oh yes, I can imagine. Yes, it was hard. I mean, I can only imagine.
So for you guys, you know what to do now. You know what to do. You know what to create. You know when to do it and stuff.
We don't feel like we know what we're doing, but
no, I'm sure. But we had to create. We had to learn what was right, what was wrong. You know what we had to do that. And so eventually, you know, we thought, okay, we can't teach physically. I was still teaching, you know, physically, you know, people didn't know that I was still teaching children. And then we thought, okay, now it's time to slowly move away from the teaching, live teaching, the physical teaching, if you wish. And Adam begged me pretty much to give up, and I don't give up. I don't give up.
Hey, that's what makes you successful in business. If you give up too easily,
I don't give up. So no, I can't. I don't want to let down people. I don't want to let down. So I thought, okay, let me just do a few more years of this, you know, and eventually, naturally, something happened in 2008 that we went into some kind of recession. And that means that schools and people, you know, didn't have as much disposable income. We started losing schools, because schools were like subventionné by the government to pay for the French lessons, and they started losing contracts. And so you've got to redefine yourself as a business. Always think, where am I heading now? You know, we're still in the teaching industry, but we've got to redefine ourselves. And this is pretty much what happened. Slowly but surely, we became YouTubers, and, you know, we learned a huge amount, you know, as we went along, because you had no choice, you know. But then with that, we needed to sell something, you know.
Because YouTube doesn't pay you much and actually pays you less.
it's not enough. It's not enough. It's a great platform though, but it's not enough. But I've seen a growth in Instagrammers as well. We were not on Insta pre-COVID. We were not, but we hired a marketing person a few years back, and then they said, okay, if you're not on Insta, you're missing out. Right. So there was TikTok, Insta things, and you think, oh gosh. Anyway, yeah, that's the progress of Learn French with Alexa over the years.
That is very, very impressive. You have like a huge amount of business experience to share, clearly. You said you arrived in London in '92, and you didn't say where you're from. So are you actually French?
Yeah. No, I'm French. I'm actually, my dad is Italian. My mom is French. And I come from a little town called Bourg-en-Bresse, near Lyon. If you know, I don't know, Angel, if you know this, but you do.
I'm French too, so yeah.
Yeah. And where are you from?
I'm from Dijon, so it's not that far.
Oh my gosh! Okay, yes. Well, we're neighbors.
I used to work in Lyon. I actually taught English in Lyon, so.
Okay. Oh, well, you know this region very well.
Quite well, yeah.
Yeah, I was there 3 weeks ago actually, and it's a sweet. So Bourg-en-Bresse is a sweet little thing, town. So that's where I come from. I was brought up there. I'm from Burgundy originally, so
wow,
very
impressive.
I was born in a tiny little village called Saint-Vallier, next to Blanzy or Mont-Soleil by the mines, which means that I come from a miner's family. So my grandfather was a miner. If you don't know Burgundy, you guys out there, just check it out. But you had coal mines, that allowed.
It's quite a can I say like poor background? I don't like the word poor, but it's not a high level background. And now I'm just really, really curious, where do you have this business mindset from? Because it's rare for a French person. Okay. I hardly ever meet a French person with such a strong business mindset. And I thought, maybe you're from a business family or something, but clearly no. What happened?
No, I'm a working class girl.
Wow.
Working class. My dad is a worker. He was an electrician. My grandparents miners. It's nothing. I am not actually. I was not destined for that.
So you're the black sheep, like myself.
Possibly, though I have four siblings, and we all have weird creative work. It's interesting. It must be my mum or something. Like my mum pointed out, it can't be from your dad because all he knows is electric poles. And I thought, okay, just
nothing wrong with electric poles, but yeah, it's limited.
It was so funny. It can't be from your dad. Your talents cannot come from your dad. It was very funny. But yes, so how did I think I am not ambitious, but I'm extremely independent thinking. I think that comes from that. I'm ambitious. I'm not a shark, because I embrace, for example, my competition. I absolutely embrace it all the time, and why? Because we all deserve to show what we are able to do, and so I pull my hat to any one of you guys. I embrace that, and I think that the market is big enough for us to find,
and varied enough.
And varied enough, for us to find our groove, what it is that people like in us, and we all have different. Some people hate me. I mean, I'm sure, some people think, oh, gosh, I really cannot stand that woman, and that's fine. It's fair, but if you don't like me, don't watch me. You know,
Yes.
I would want to say in the comments, if you don't like it, just don't watch.
Hey, that drives engagement. I welcome it when people criticize me in the comments because, yeah, thank you for your comment. You push the algorithm. I really need it. I have a small channel.
So anyway, yes, fully, I'm proud to be from a working background. Proud of my parents, proud of my father who arrived, from Italy to work in France, because the 60s were a very good time for Italian, for example, where, very on a side story, but my father described having come from Italy, a tiny little village in Italy, with his 3 sisters and 2 parents by train, having transported one single mattress with them. And that's what they chose to bring, to give you an idea of poverty,
Yes. And determination, right?
And determination again. So yeah. And determinations, so you imagine this family, coming to Mont-sur-les-Mines and Blanzy-les-Mines to find work in the coal mines,
Wow.
And so it's funny that you come from so close, in Dijon. Yes. It's really funny, but that's it. So did that as a person, because I saw the poverty through my father, and I didn't live in poverty, don't take me wrong, but because I saw it, I thought, well, that gives you more determination, because when you use the brain for a minute, I'm not stupid. I can do things my own way, and I think that helped me. If it had been too simple, if my parents had had money, maybe I wouldn't be where I am today. Do you see? I wouldn't be able to teach the way I teach. And I don't know. Anyway, they gave me great values, I think. So.
Yes, it makes sense. And I would argue that maybe you're not like completely French in the mindset. And that is actually a compliment, because as you say, they came from Italy and they had already the mindset of moving to another country and just finding something better, or maybe even creating something better, which is not something that I've had in my background. Everybody's from Burgundy. Almost all of my ancestors were farmers in that area. I have not been able to trace down any foreign ancestors yet, despite the fact that one of my uncles made this massive family tree, but they're all from there.
Yeah,
and
no,
so exactly. That's probably where the determination is from, and just well, maybe we don't have much right now, or like building something out of nothing, basically, or out of not much, which is very, very impressive.
Yeah, no, thank you. One day I refrain. There might be a book, Alexa's story.
that would be great. I mean, I had no idea that you had this story, despite reading your website and your YouTube channel. You're very, very focused on the French. It's really amazing to have the backstory. Like, thank you so much for sharing it.
It's okay. Yeah.
And I don't want to take too much of your time, because I know you're very, very busy. So...
No, that's okay. We've got five more minutes. I did promise my team I will go to the office today. Not that they care. I tell you, they get on with their jobs. And sometimes I arrive, and I swear, Angel, that sometimes there is not one desk for me. So I've done a very funny story. We own 2 studios. Right. We don't own them, we rent. By the river and the Thames, and you're more than welcome to see if you ever come. Are you in London? Or
I'm in Vienna right now, but sure, I'll love to come to London someday. It's one of my favorite cities, so yeah.
And sometimes you arrive, so we've got like a pod desks, with computers, and I arrive and there is no space for me, but nobody cares. They get on with them. Whether Alexa has a space, it doesn't matter. So
maybe you don't need one.
I do funny stories about me, feeling outside and not fitting in with my team, but I do that for laugh. I mean, they're kind. I have a lot of people, not a lot. It's not a huge business. To be honest, it's big enough for me because it's hard to handle. So I'm not sure whether, Angel, you have people with you helping you?
Yes, I have one person. Actually, I would say 2 people, because one person helps me with the crazy administrative work that I have to do in German. because I speak German, but just not good enough to take on the administration when they have decided to annoy me. It's next level. It's not only you have to speak German, but you have to be nice to them, and that's like too hard for me. And also, I have one person who is in the US and does really a lot of amazing work for me. She sometimes does video editing. She does things like writing, putting the blogs together, the emails. A lot of it is what she does. So yeah, I do have a small team, but it's all remote. Well, the person who does my administrative work is here, but we don't have an office.
No, you don't need to nowadays. You
no,
really don't.
It's absolutely pointless. I mean, I've been working from home since 2016 and my home has moved and nothing has changed other than moving my home from Berlin to Vienna and probably moving again sometime in the future. And it's an amazing way to work. And it's cheap, which if you have a very small business, it's nice.
No, absolutely. I agree with working from home, unless you need the studio. I mean, we need the studio, you know, everything, the lighting and everything is set up. So I'm going physically to the studio and I need an operator as well. So that's important to have them on site.
Yeah, you do get better quality of video with that. I mean, I'm well aware that my sound quality and my video quality isn't the best that I could have. This is the actual shelf that I use. Those are my real books. I don't actually have more because I keep moving. So
I don't think it matters much.
It's real life, you know, I'm a real person.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sound is important. And I feel that I did criticize Adam 10 years ago when he bought this very expensive microphone. And I said, what was that for? You know, and looking back on the old, videos, you think, wow, he was ahead of the game because he knew that the quality of the sound was important.
Yeah, it is critically important. I really need to buy a better mic sometime. I need to understand how it works better. Yeah.
And because of that, the videos have not aged. You spend lots of money, but definitely the quality of the sound and the quality of the image is important because your videos are going to be online, you know, and qualities will evolve into better and better. And the fact that Adam chose super quality video and sound, even back then, you know, he's so ahead of it. So actually
that was a great move.
It was, I mean, I trust every decision he makes in terms of, you know, in terms of technology.
Right.
You know, I trust that he's on it because he works a lot about it. So, but talking about Berlin before I go, I will be in Berlin in June for the Expo Lingua. So I don't know if you know the conference.
No, I haven't participated so far. I was already gone when they created it, I believe. So yeah, I know you have to run. So last question, where can people find you? What's the best way to get started with Learn French with Alexa?
Oh, I think, well, where do you get started? Probably the YouTube channel, Learn French with Alexa. But ideally, if you want more, it's learnfrenchwithalexa.com. We are learnfrench.com as well. So you can, you can find us on learnfrench.com or learnfrenchwithalexa.com. But also on Instagram, weirdly, this is a platform I'm thoroughly enjoying at the moment.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes. So I don't know, Angel, if you're on Instagram.
I am, yes, it's at French Fluency. So
right, okay. I will look for
there.
you.
I don't use it very much, but if you DM me, I'll reply.
Yeah, but use it more. If you don't use it very much, use it more.
All right.
That's just an advice. I will look at it.
My assistant loves Instagram, so it's more like her doing the things. And sometimes I make graphics and stuff. I cannot focus on every platform, sadly, but yeah.
No, because they're just one or three of you. It's not possible, but it's worth spending a few hours a week.
All right.
I'm just saying that.
I'll see what I can do with Instagram. Like it's something I'm not particularly. I don't have much affinity with it. I do prefer YouTube and blogs and Pinterest. Actually, I don't know if you use Pinterest. It's a great platform.
Pinterest is a very powerful platform.
Yes. It's the most powerful so far that among those I've managed to make work. So yeah. All right. I'm going to let you go. So thank you so much for joining me today. It was an amazing episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review on your podcast platform or a comment on YouTube, because this will help us find more listeners and more viewers, and also more awesome guests like Alexa to make more awesome episodes. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. Bye-bye.